All right, welcome back, everybody. I am here playing 15 plus 10 on Lee Chess as usual against Metger Unpin. Let's play d4. Gonna try to get back on the. Oh wait, I knew I was doing something wrong. There we go. Now it looks like a semi-professional setup. So yeah, we've got a Queen's Gambit Slav. Okay. Let's try something out that I've been playing with. And we'll have to give a shout out to the Chess Doofus YouTube channel, who is the pioneer of this opening. And in fact, it is known in some circles as the Doof attack for Mr. Chess Doofus. Bishop g5 in the exchange Slav. And we're sort of putting black to the test. Black's probably out of theory. This move isn't very common. And there's a lot of logical looking moves for black, and black can get one, or all of them sort of give white some play, or, you know, one advantage or another. Okay, so he plays h6, which we just go back. That's what the Chess Doofus YouTube channel told me to do. And yeah, he's still got to make a decision. I mean, the crux of it is he going to bring this knight out to f6 and allow me to take and mess up his pawns? Or is he going to do something else? So sort of like the Trompowsky, or I believe the Levitsky, white's trying to kind of mess black up over here. So the Trompowsky is d4, d4 knight f6 bishop g5, and I think d4 d5 bishop g5 is the Levitsky. So this opening has some similarities with those openings, which is discussed at length on Chess Doofus's channel. So go watch that. Okay, so in the e takes f6 line, white's idea becomes pretty clear. We just want to attack this weak pawn that will always be weak. It'll never be defended by a black pawn. It's fixed on the d5 square, so we can sort of train all our pieces towards it. And I don't know that move order is super important here, but basically, we're going to put the knight on c3. We're going to put the bishop on g2. We're going to play e3. We're going to get this knight to f4, or possibly recapturing here, like if he plays bishop b4, which they like to do. We could even play queen b3 and put extra pressure on the pawn that way. And white probably can't win the pawn by force, but black will have to sort of commit all of his forces to defending the pawn, and then white will have an advantage because black will be kind of stuck defending this pawn, and we can try to do other stuff, hopefully. Or just win the pawn. Win the pawn would be good too. Yeah, so again, I don't know if move order is super important. I think I'm just going to play g3 first. And the only reason I want to play g3 first is there are some sharper lines where white can just play e4 instead of e3. So I don't know, I'm kind of leaving myself some room to play e4 instead of e3 if I want to, but doesn't seem like it's going that way. Now, one downside of that is if I played e3, I could have played knight ge2 here, which would make a lot of sense, just recapturing with the other knight. Now I can't do that, so maybe I should have played e3 instead of g3. I think I'll just play rook c1 and just say, okay, if you want to give back the bishop pair, that's fine. I think I still have an advantage. I guess queen c2, queen b3 is also, I mean, queen b3 is a move I was alluding to that I might want to play anyway. But on either of those moves, my queen is getting drawn to c3, which isn't the best looking square, I think. If I play rook c1, takes here, he could try to like pin me up. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could just play a3 and claim that that's not such a big deal. I don't think anything else is going to be attacking the rook, really. So I'm going to stick with that. I don't think that... In some cases, it makes sense to just recapture with the pawn and play for c4. But since my bishop's going to this diagonal, I don't think that makes sense. It'll be hard to achieve c4, and in the meantime, black will be able to target that pawn pretty easily with the half-open c-file. So yeah, backward pawns on open files for your opponent can be really difficult to manage. So I don't really want to let that happen. So I definitely want to recapture here with a piece. And I would have preferred to have done that with my knight. But, you know, live and learn, I guess. Okay, he castled. I'm definitely going to just play e3. And basically say to black, if he will hear me, that if you do not take my knight right now, I'm going to play knight ge2. And I'm going to be ready to just recapture with a knight. He could consider like queen b6 or perhaps even queen a5. On queen a5, I probably just play a3. That doesn't seem like such a big deal. On queen b6, maybe just knight ge2, because if takes, if he gets greedy, I can grab this pawn and, you know, seems like I'll have stronger pawns than him. I mean, I guess maybe he can grab that. That's something to consider. Okay, that move doesn't really concern me. I don't think this file is going to be problematic. So let's just get the knight here as planned. And yeah, I think my play will be pretty direct. Just bishop g2, get on this pawn, castles, and ask black what he means to do to defend here. So in my opinion, this is like the most straightforward. This is the easiest line for white when they let you take on f6 and they take with their e-pawn, because it just makes the play very simple. There's lots of other ways that black can play against bishop g5, but this is my favorite one to see. And, you know, in some cases, this pawn structure might look kind of funny with all the pawns on dark squares, but with the light square bishop around to sort of watch over the light squares, you know, I don't really view that as that big of a deal. Like, that move makes sense. Like, you know, he's pinning this, he's sort of in the vicinity of some weaknesses, but what is actually going to come of that? I guess he wants to take here again, and I guess I'll just have to go, you know, revert to my plan of taking with the rook since this is pinned. I mean, I could play queen b3, queen c2. Maybe that's not so crazy of an idea to just play queen b3. It's probably something I want to do anyway. Now, if I play queen b3, he could take here. Then I'm having to play bishop e2, which is a little awkward. But I don't know, it's not too awkward. I could probably just play bishop f3 and back here later. Was that worth doing? Should I just continue with bishop g2? I think I will just do this. I mean, I think, like I said, I think that's where my queen would sort of like to be anyway. So I don't think I mind it. Also, I didn't notice it, but I think maybe knight here is like if I play bishop g2, he can just take this because everything's all pinned. My knights are pinned, and this is pinned. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to. So I definitely can't play bishop g2. In fact, so that's a more annoying move than I realized. So actually, maybe this is bad, because then... Like, if bishop g2 here, I could take with the queen. I think in my head I had already moved that queen to b3. So maybe I should do... Because if I play queen b3, and then my plan is bishop g2 later, now I probably am... Oh, but I can take back with the knight then, so... I don't know. I mean, I'm lagging in development, so I think if there's not a tactical difference, I would sort of lean towards bishop g2 and try to get castled. Queen b3 might be, you know, trying to have it all. Might be a little negligent. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think I sort of believe that nonsense that I said. And let's just get castled. Get out of any of this. And get out of this, which is also annoying. Now, an interesting thing about bishop g4 is a lot of times they're having to play bishop e6 to act as a defender of this pawn. So it could be like if nothing comes of this, then black might end up kind of wasting a tempo at some point, bringing this bishop back. Another thing I didn't think about, but I definitely should have thought about, is if I move the queen, he could have just gone bishop f3, and that would be annoying. So I'm definitely standing by bishop g2, just not for any reasons that I realized at the time. Who would have thunk that a natural developing move that's getting ready to castle would end up being a good move? So what's he gonna do? He's gonna do this. I just play a3 and I don't care, I think. Against queen b6. I mean, queen b6 could be something, because then if I just castle, he could take. And if I'm taking with the rook, this is dropping off, so maybe I would take with the pawn. Pawn looks a little soft, but maybe I can get in c4 relatively quickly. c4 would be a bit of a shame. Like, it sort of creates a like if I'm doing this and trading here, you know, he's getting a pawn majority, a 2-for-1 over here. But I guess I do have this central protected passer, so I guess I shouldn't really fear that. Okay, he did just take, so I take with the queen. Oh, but then he's gonna take this. I understand. Can I take with the king? and you know, not get murdered. I sort of feel like I can. Like, I don't know what move I'm actually supposed to be afraid of if I take with the king. I don't see any reason why this wouldn't work because of this pin. So yeah, I guess I'm just taking with the king. Delayed Bond Cloud. Like, this would be scarier if he had any, like, pawn breaks that looked feasible at all, but, you know, there's no pawn breaks here. This looks impossible. At some point I may want to play h4 and just, you know, then things look really solid. I mean, things already look pretty solid. Like, I'm already probably threatening to take this now that I'm unpinned. Like, maybe I'm over optimistic, but I just, okay, well, that's fine, you know. Get my rook to a better square for free. I won't complain about that. Queen b6, maybe queen d2. Gotta try to defend everything. Queen d2 is probably a move I want to play anyway, because then I could swing this rook over, get this king, you know, castle manually. If he lashes out over here, then maybe I want the rook on h1 and try to, you know, play h4. Okay, yeah, so queen d2 was my plan. I don't really see any big problem there. Then he's got to think about this again. I mean, I could even take this and just say, fine, you can have that, but then I'm going to play queen d2. I defend everything. If we trade queens, I mean, I've got this protected passer in the middle of the board. My king actually makes sense on d2 in an endgame. Yeah, maybe I just do that. Oh, but you know what is annoying is if I take and he takes and I play queen d2, he can throw in knight takes d4 because my queen's pinned. So that I don't want. I don't think. That does not look as fun. Because then my king has to go to some weird square. F1, E1. Yeah, so let's not allow any of that. Let's just defend this. He'll probably move a rook over to defend this. I guess he could maybe entertain this, but, you know, it looks like that just gets shooed away. He could check me. That would be a little annoying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess if he checks me... I guess I play king f1. And then, I don't know, somehow try to get this rook out. Oh, you're just gonna do that anyway, huh? Yeah, because you can. That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, it just didn't dawn on me like he's attacking this some more. Okay, well that was kind of stupid. Alright. Well, I guess I move my king. I guess that's what I do. King D1? Like, if I go here, he's checking me. And then if I go here, there's knight check. I can draw the arrows. Which would be really annoying. King F1 looks like kind of a bad move. Because then after queen check, I'd have to come back to E1, and then I'm lined up here again. So maybe just king D1 right away. And then, like, I'm threatening to take this somehow. And I'm also threatening to take this. And there's no checks. My king looks really stupid, but there's no checks, so... He'll probably just have to move the knight somewhere, right? So, okay. We'll just keep living on the edge here, I suppose. He might try some queen a6, queen a5. I think I just take the knight, though. Now, another worthy question is this even a good idea? Because then I got a lot of stuff lined up on the D file. So I would say it is likely not a good idea. So maybe he moves the knight and I try to play rook d3 and just... Or maybe I just take it, and then if he tries to do stuff to me, then I play rook d3. And like e4. I mean, I don't know, my king's gonna be weird the whole game. It's too late to fix that. So I'd really like to just win this pawn and trade some pieces. And then it's probably an equal ending. Because that pawn was basically the strength of my position. So I got a little careless with the move order here, I guess. Like, okay, we'll save this for after the game. I do have a time advantage, which is the most shocking thing that's ever happened to me, I think. Okay, he just went back. Yeah, I mean, maybe I can just take it. And defend for my life. I mean, what else am I going to do? Am I going to play... Like, I need to get this rook into the game, too. But, like, how? How do we actually achieve such a thing? Like, it's probably easier to do if this pawn is gone, because then there's no d4 break happening. Like, d4 is, you know, that looks like a move I should take seriously. So I think I want to take it. I think I want to take the thing. And then he'll go knight b4, and I'll go bishop b3, and he'll go... Yeah, that doesn't work, because he has rook d8, rook d3, rook takes d3, queen takes d3, rook d8 again. So I'll play bishop d5, knight b4, bishop c4, rook d8, rook d3, takes, bishop takes. Ugh. I mean, he might get the a2 pawn. Okay, what about just a3? Just stop b4, and on d4, I wanted to play bishop c6, but he takes my rook with tempo and the queen. That is a problem. Maybe I take it knight b4 and rook b3 and claim that he's all pinned. I don't know. I'm just worried about d4, so I think I kind of gotta do something about it. I mean, could I play king c1 or king c2 and just try to get the rook out that way? I mean, he's kind of... This is happening fast. But if it is happening fast, don't I want my rook? Like, wouldn't that be good? I could play queen c2, and then on d4 I have rook c6. Maybe. Maybe. But then I'm running into knight b4. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna attempt to get my king safe over here. It seems very dicey. But we're gonna attempt that. But yeah, suddenly, I was talking about how this pawn was a weakness. Now it is not a weakness. And the difference is that it's not fixed in place anymore. Now it is basically a kamikaze. Like, it can just be hurled up the board to kind of ruin my structure. Hopefully king c1 was the right idea. I mean, I'm down a pawn, but I do have... I mean, if he doesn't have an attack, which is a big if, then, like, I could claim some compensation. Like, I've got the bishop versus the knight. He's got this weak pawn. He's got, a defective pawn structure over here. Like he's up 7 pawns to 6, but, are all, like, do these count as full pawns, is the question. I mean, I'm just gonna take it, and I'm gonna regret it later, but I'm gonna take it now. What else can you do? I mean, the guy's gonna do stuff to me. I gotta take it. And then he's gonna be threatening this. I guess I'll play rook e1. If he takes with the queen, that's like music to my ears. Like, please, let's trade queens. Now, in the queen trade line, I can't play rook e1. Yeah, he didn't like that. So I just want to be a little careful that there's not any kind of weird tactics. Like, I mean, it's scary. But I think, I think if this doesn't hold it together, then it can't be held together. I mean, I got all my pieces active, so it's got to be good. And now we're in a situation where the extra pawn is, you know, basically this pawn. So a lot of endgames, that pawn may not matter. I mean, it can matter. Like, if he can get a pawn break, you know, where he trades one of his F pawns for one of my pawns, like, then we're talking. But if I can get some position, like, my pawn's here and his pawn's here, then, you know, then that pawn doesn't matter. Okay, well, there's a lot of captures to look at now. Like, for example, I could take here, rook takes, and then maybe take this with the idea that the knight is loose. The queen's overworked. That might give away the back rank, though, which would be a little scary. Yeah, it could be a little scary for sure. Does he have a threat? I feel like I want to play King B1. That does walk into a pin, but I don't see an immediate way for him to exploit that. I kind of got to make a move, so I'm just going to do that. Even though my queen's defending two things, it's not overworked, because either square defends the other. That's sort of nice. This rook is a little bit pinned, maybe, because I probably don't want him to play rook c2. So, like, I was looking at rook d3, but rook c2 looks annoying. Well, he would have to, like, take here first, but nevertheless. I might try to put my bishop here. Like, that would be sort of a useful square, you know, giving him some potential back rank issues. It looks a little floaty, but... You know, I could also just... I could just take that and do it that way. Maybe he realized that. Well, now I'm inclined to, like, sort of... But he can just take here. So maybe we do it this way, and then the knight is sort of pinned, sort of. Not completely, but sort of. I think I like that idea. Like, he can go here, that's about it. Defend the rook. It's funny, now it looks like I castled. Like, now it looks like, you know, just some chess, but, you know, nothing special. Like, okay, black won a pawn. But otherwise, what's, you know, nothing's going on. Maybe I play bishop h3 next. Bishop h3... I guess the guy just moves his rook. Like, he might want to play rook c d8 anyway. Okay, he does go there. could try to pin him, you know, every which way. Let's do that, because I like pinning when I can get away with it. Now I'm hoping for knight here. Okay, well that doesn't make sense, because... I mean, it still makes sense. It looks like he has some discovered attack, but when I take here, his rook's pinned. So the knight is pinned. And actually now I guess I'm threatening to take this. Yeah, so that move makes sense. But he still has some issues, doesn't he? This knight's still pinned. I could ramp up the pressure pretty easily. Maybe he'll play king f8. I probably still go rook e3. Okay. Let's just go here. This looks like the most logical move. And he has to kind of manage this. He can't really move. He probably would like to unpin, but it's tough. Okay. Now how to make progress. I mean, he still can't really move anything. Let's try to transfer this bishop. Hopefully I'm not hanging it. I'm thinking of trying to get the bishop here. I mean, I guess the rook can move. Like, this is defended enough. Still feels like the bishop could be effective, you know, from b3 or a4. Okay, that's threatening some stuff. What do I do about that? Here? Oh, I flagged. Okay. Yeah, I needed to play rook c3. I think I'm fine. I just couldn't get the move off in time. Darn. I think I'm fine after rook c3. Maybe he has some tactic. That was not my finest game, I must say. See what the computer has to say. Yeah, I mean, I was never, like, crushed. And in the final position, yeah, rook c3 is an only move, and black's doing quite well. Yeah, so let's see what happens here. Yeah, so I sort of knew everything up to here. Knight c3 is good. Yeah, and there actually are some games in the master database, and they all played e3. So the g3 was a little reckless, I guess, because of this bishop b4. And I can't defend that knight with the knight like I would like to. Yeah, and actually the computer says he should take here, which feels sort of unnatural, but it is kind of forcing white to make a concession. Yeah, and now I'm back kind of equal, maybe a hair better. And then maybe I got a little, well, I mean, knight e2 is fine. But I sort of noticed this problem, and I fixated on that, and I didn't think about, like, you know, like, I sort of just poo-pooed this move. It's like, that move, you know, that's not doing anything. But, you know, that is creating some ideas. So, maybe I should take it more seriously. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this kind of breaks the pin, so it accidentally makes some sense, but... Yeah, and actually, this is all fine. And king takes is fine. Yeah, I mean, I thought I was just doing well here. Yep. And then here, I just kind of missed the idea. I was only looking at b2. It wants to play king d2, which I have to admit is a very like strange looking move, but I mean, knowing what I know, it makes quite a bit of sense. That is giving up b2, but I guess the point is we can just play rook c2. It wants to play queen c2. Oh yeah, because if we move the rook, then wait. Oh, it wants to give check here if we move the rook. Yeah, I mean, this is sort of a difficult position to accept, like just giving away this pawn, but I mean, again, this thing is so weak. And these pawns don't really count as two pawns. So, I mean, the computer doesn't want to trade queens with black, which sort of makes sense because, I mean, it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, I mean, black is up a pawn, but, you know, the white king is in the middle of the board, the black king's pretty safe, so usually that would indicate that white is the side that would want a queen trade. Yeah, and I mean, these pawns are, you know, accessible to white and are weak, so yeah, the computer's very happy to have white here, even though white is down a pawn. This feels like the natural way to defend, but I guess there's like rook b8, rook b1. Yeah, I want to play rook c5. Yeah, it's already getting tough to hold everything. I mean, kind of amazing how black's not really going to be able to hold the pawn, even though it's just like two pieces that are active. Now, if he plays knight e7, I mean, knight e7 feels a bit unnatural, but I guess we can get in here right away. Okay, and I mean, in this line, at least black held the pawn, but now the white pieces are getting pretty active. This is just a sample line that's giving, let's play rook b7. Rook b7 is kind of a funny looking move. Oh, that's okay. I mean, rook db8 is such a inhuman looking move to me, but that's the computer's top choice, so I played it. And then that allows this, and you know, we're not giving up the exchange. Like, this just looks great for white. So I don't know why rook db8. It just seems like suicidal. But okay. Anyway, that's a crazy computer line. But probably an instructive moment. Like, don't get bogged down. I mean, I just missed it. And it's stupid that I missed it because I saw the pin, I saw this idea, it just didn't dawn on me like, he has two attackers, I have one defender. It's as simple as that. I'm not saying I would have found king d2. Like, I probably would be a chicken and play king f1. But, you know, I still should find that idea. Like, it's not that hard. Okay, yeah, and then now I'm kind of running around. It actually wants to play king f1. I was not happy about this. It just plays queen d3. Yeah, okay. I mean, we're hitting the queen. I mean, we're hitting the knight. If the knight moves, the queen hangs. So we're kind of forcing black's hand here. Now it says rook ac8. Ugh, that move's too confusing. What happens if I take his knight? You get checkmated somehow? Oh, I do get checkmated. He plays queen takes queen. And then here, and then here. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, that's hard to find. Rook ac1, rook ac8. The difficult one. And what happens on... Oh, the queen's pinned, so I can't play queen takes knight. That's a good answer. Yeah. Okay. I guess I believe it. So yeah, I actually made things worse by trying to kind of not make large material concessions. Yeah, and d4 was, of course, a good move. But, I mean, give me a little bit of props. Like, you know, I didn't make it super easy for him. This is actually just a bad move. King b1 is good. I'm almost back in the game. It says I should trade and play a3. I mean, oh no. a3 is sort of hard to... I guess this is some threat in some line. I don't know what line. This felt so good because I'm pinning him. It just says he should just do this. Yeah, I mean, that is pretty sensible. And then he might be able to try to get his rooks down here. I mean, he has to watch out for back rank stuff. Instead he did here, and now it's actually equal if I play queen e3. So I played queen e2, which was a similar idea, trying to pin the knight. It wants queen e3, which pins the knight. It creates the same threat. And I guess the computer doesn't want to allow queen to, you know, this pawn structure would be I mean, not only is it bad pawn, but it's just losing a pawn. And it's actually giving a repetition here. It's giving queen b5, queen d3, and it doesn't ever want to trade queens with black, which is kind of surprising because, I mean, black is up a pawn, right? But what happens if we trade queens? Yeah, the computer's pretty happy to have white. How interesting. That would not really be my intuition at all. I mean, I wouldn't think that either side would have a big advantage here, but the computer is actually pretty happy to have white. Interesting if true. So instead of that, I did not offer the queen trade. And he took, and I took, and yeah, it's sort of equal again. Again, it wants queen e3. Rook e3 is also okay. Black's still a hair better. And bishop d5 was interesting. It wants to play a3 always. I mean, I guess, you know, a3 means there's never going to be, like, queen d1 mate or any kind of back rank problem. Like, there was some line I was looking at, don't remember what it was, but, like, where there was, like, rook e1 check and then king c2 was annoying. So a3 makes the king feel a little happier, I guess. Yeah, this was a little risky. And then I just needed to get off the move rook c3, but I flagged instead because I'm slow. Yeah, I probably would trade. And it says black is still doing quite well. I think for a human in, you know, we're getting kind of into a time scramble. I think it's anybody's game. But, you know, what do I know? Not much. So, okay, hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe and stuff. And watch all the other videos. Tell your friends, whatever. But see you next time. Bye, everybody.